and welcome to the narrative. Well, it's been 3 weeks that I've been in Melkadida, and at the end of my stay, I decided to do a review of how the 3 weeks went by. There were a lot of interesting things which I actually picked up uh, from there, and first and foremost is how it's very interesting how the people read their time over there. So it's basically 6 hours backwards, they go 6 hours behind, and the day begins at 6 in the morning. So 6 in the morning for them would be 12 a.m., that is midnight, and the whole day is, the time is read in that manner. So for example, 9 a.m. in the morning would actually be 3 a.m. local time. And well, I came to know about this thing in a very interesting incident. So I was at the airport at Addis Ababa. So I was waiting for the UN humanitarian air service to go to Melkadida. So my flight was scheduled at 6:30 in the morning. So until 6:25 there was no one there at the gate. So I was a bit nervous, not sure, what's going to happen. So there was this guy next to me who also was traveling on the same plane. So I happened to ask him, I think the plane's delayed or the flight is delayed. And he was like, yeah, it's supposed to depart at 12:30. And I was like, 12:30? Did I miss the plane, or or do I have to wait for another 6 hours? And then later on, actually, once I reached Melkadida, and once again, I saw two timings over there, and when I asked the people, they were like, yeah, we follow the local time, there is 6 hours behind. But it was interesting to know, actually. And so that was that. So next, as I mentioned in the previous narrative, I was actually there to help out with the computer education and the illiteracy program. So basically I was reviewing and revising the syllabus for the computer classes, and at the same time it wasn't only for the kids, but it was also for some of the staff members. So it was interesting because the motivation that these guys had, the people had, to actually learn about computer was very fascinating. Some of them would come a bit early to learn, and they showed a lot of interest, a lot of determination, and a lot of commitment. And that is which also enabled me to give in myself. So all around it was quite a good experience in that sector. I guess the next highlight would be the 2-day workshop that I conducted for the national staff of the JRS. So it was basically based on leadership, and then there was a small input session on photo and video editing skills. So basically for 1.5 days I basically covered up the whole concept about leadership and conflict management, anger management. So that was for 1.5 days, and then for the remainder of the second day, just 2 sessions on photo editing and video editing skills. So that was there, and once again, people really enthusiastic, really motivated, which was a big source of encouragement for me as well to give in my best. And so, another thing was interesting was there was active participation. So you give them group activities, they would willingly participate, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of creativity, a lot of new ideas, because there were certain activities where they had to think, come up with a plan how they would solve a particular problem. So you could see a lot of creativity in that, which was very, very interesting, and at the same time motivating for me also. So then I got to see the town of Dolo, actually, which is 70 kilometers from Melkadida. And also the road isn't that good. It's kind of a bumpy terrain, so for most of us it's like an off-roading experience. It's a real test for the car and the driver, because the road's quite bumpy, and at the same time there's a lot of areas where there's like fine sand. So four-wheel drive is really like required for such terrain. So difficult terrain, hard terrain actually, for both actually machine as well as man at the same time. Uh, yeah, so one finished the town, of course. I got to see a bit of the town, and also got to know a bit about the history. So actually the whole operation started in Dolo. So they would come over there, they would have the reviewing done, okay, and then they would be distributed to the other camps. So like it's like the Dolo operation, which basically has around 5 camps in the vicinity. And well, there are plenty of things, as I said, which I learned from my stay at Melkadida. So first and foremost, the entire 3 weeks was a sort of a confidence booster for me. So I was able to use my abilities, and at the same time I also realized that I could be more flexible with regards to changing the plan, or wherever need be, being a bit flexible, making adjustments here and there. So I think that was one of the positives which I picked up from the entire duration. Secondly, I was also able to put myself to the test, because I mean I'd done Word, Excel, PowerPoint around 10 years back. So like for me to get back to that, and to teach it, that was indeed a very good experience. So I'm really thankful to the entire GRS team for giving me such an opportunity to do that, and I also learned a lot about myself, and it helped me believe in myself, and I guess also I learned that it's easy for me to adapt to new surroundings, so it doesn't take much time. So that was there. And after 3 weeks in the place, I was given a cool farewell on the last day. So as you will see in the pics, I was gifted the traditional attire that the people wear, and it was also interesting and touching to see the people, how the staff members were really like sort of like they appreciated my work over there. So it was good for me as well. And yeah, so it was nice that all of us learned everything. I learned something from them, they learned something from me. It was a very wonderful experience, because it was like in a different place, and also like I mean the atmosphere, the environment there was really nice. So it was a wonderful experience, and it was what I wanted, because it was like relaxation, at the same time I was able to contribute something. So well, tomorrow I'll be flying to Rome, and I'll be there for 21 days. So end of the narrative for now, but stay tuned for more narratives.